Absolute cost advantage.
This call is now being recorded.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
हेलो हाँ
Hello.
ଶୁଣୁଛି sir
Uh-huh. A country to participate in international trade must have
ହଁ
an absolute cost advantage. So, to explain his theory, he has taken an example. I'm simply switching the example. Uh, I'm using this notebook. You can see. Suppose, suppose this is a country A. I can say this is country A and this is country B. Suppose there are two countries. Suppose in
ଆଜ୍ଞା
the world there are two countries. Hello.
ହଁ ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
So suppose there are two countries in the world, A country and B
ସାର୍
country,
ଆଜ୍ଞା
and they are suppose producing two commodities, X commodity and Y commodity,
ୱାଇ
X commodity and Y commodity.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
So suppose A produces 10 unit of X, 10 units of X.
ହଁ
Hello.
ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ହିୟରିଂ ସାର୍ ହିୟରିଂ
Yes. Hello.
ସାର୍
And
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
5 units of Y. Hello.
ଓକେ
ବୁଝି ହଉଛି ନା ନାଇଁ? ବୁଝି ହଉଛି ନା ନାଇଁ?
ସାର୍ 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 କୁହନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍
Suppose country A, in
ହଁ
country A,
ସାର୍
1 unit of labor produces 10 units of X
ହଁ ହଁ
and 1 unit of labor produces 5 units of Y.
ଓକେ
And in country B, suppose 1 unit of labor produces 5 units of X and
ହଁ
10 units of Y.
ଓକେ
Now, people say that country A
ହୁଁ
has an absolute cost advantage in the production of X
ହୁଁ
within the country also among the countries in the production of X you can compare with that of the country B because in country B 1 unit of labor produces 5 units of X but in country A
ହୁଁ
1 unit of labor produces 10 units of X. Country A has an absolute cost advantage
ସାର୍
in the production of the commodity X. Similarly, country B has an absolute cost advantage in the production of Y. Hello,
ସାର୍
hello.
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
This is the situation. Hi, hello. This is the situation, and it is a pre-trade situation. There is no trade. This is a pre-trade situation.
ପ୍ରି ଟ୍ରେଡ୍
This is a pre-trade situation.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
And before trade, suppose world production of commodity X was 15 units, and world production of commodity Y was also 15 units, and this was the world production.
ଆଚ୍ଛା
World production. Now here there are some assumptions. I have assumed that labor is the only cost of production. And there are two countries in the world and two commodities are produced. So people they can manage with these two commodities. This may be hypothetical example, but this is the hypothetical assumption. Obviously, it's not a realistic one. So for the simplicity, we have assumed that there are two countries and two commodities and one factor of production. That is why this model is otherwise called 2 by 2 by 1 model. It is a 2 by 2 by 1
2
model. There are two countries, two commodities, and one factor of production. That is labor. So
ଆଜ୍ଞା
labor is the
ଆଜ୍ଞା
only factor of production taken into account. Hello.
ଶୁଣୁଛି ସାର୍
Labor,
ଆଜ୍ଞା
labor is the only cost of production. Two commodities, two commodities, and one factor of production. That is, it is two
ହଁ
by
ହଁ
two by one model.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
Now you can think of a trade situation. Suppose the countries will participate in international trade. They will exchange their commodities. Then what will happen? If countries will have international trade, then country A, instead of producing both the commodities, country A will be specialized in the production of only commodity X and will import commodity Y from country B.
आगे
Similarly, country B will be specialized in the production of a commodity Y and import commodity X from country A. Suppose in this example, it is a post-trade situation. It is a post-trade situation. It is a post-trade situation. Suppose here it is a commodity X and it is commodity Y. Now, suppose country A will produce only X and no amount of Y. That means by utilizing the labor which is engaged in the production of commodity Y in the production of commodity X, then 20 units of commodity X will be produced in country A. You understand? Hello?
नहीं सर आओ सर सर
If country A will be specialized in the production of only commodity X and will not produce any amount of commodity Y, then here the laborers or the labors what the country A was using to produce commodity Y will simply be diverted from commodity Y to the production of commodity X. Now, suppose in this example, we have assumed that 1 unit of labor and 1 unit of labor.
आगे
So that means there will be 2 units of labor will produce. If 1 unit of labor can produce 10 units of X, then 2 units of labor can produce 20 units of X and no unit of Y,
नो
right?
राइट सर
Then country B will be specialized in the production of a commodity Y. That means country B will not produce any amount of commodity X. L will produce only commodity Y. That means 20 units of commodity Y will be produced.
राइट सर
Then you see the world production of commodity X is now 20 units and commodity Y is also 20 units. So now you see previously country A was producing 10 units of commodity X and 5 units of commodity Y.
वाई
5 units of commodity Y.
वाई
Now the country A is producing 20 units of commodity.
Okay.
That means in excess of 10 units of X. In excess of 10 units of excess production, there is an excess production of a commodity X in country A. That is the excess amount is 10X. If the 10X will be utilized, that means 10X country A will export 10X to country B. So country B, which was initially producing 5X, will now get 10X.
सर
In excess of what? In excess of how much of 10 units of Y? Because country B is producing 20 units of Y. Previously, it was producing 10 units of Y.
जी
Now, in excess of 10 units of Y, country B will get 10 units of X and vice versa, obviously.
obviously sir
Country A will get 10Y, country B will get 10X. Now, see, previously, before trade situation, country A, people were consuming 10 units of X and 5 units of Y. Now, after trade, you see, people are now consuming 10 units of X and 10 units of Y. ଏଇ
right sir
20 ରୁ ସେମାନେ 10 already export କରିଛନ୍ତି. Country B କୁ export କରିକି in exchange of export, they have received 10Y. So now the consumption of commodity Y has increased. That means in total product consumption, if consumption will be taken into account, in country A, there is no change. If there will be no change in consumption of commodity X, there is an increase in the consumption of commodity Y. It is on the one hand. On the other hand, in country B, you see, if there will be no change in the consumption of a commodity Y, there is an increase in the consumption of a commodity X in country B. So we can know that there is an increase in the consumption of commodities in post-trade situation. There is an increase in the consumption of commodities. If we talk about the whole world situation, in
Hmm.
post-trade situation, world production
Post
has
trade.
increased. Post-trade, trade ହେଇ ସାରିଲା ପରେ,
আচ্ছা।
trade ହେଇ ସାରିଲା ପରେ, before trade ରେ
Post
15
trade
units,
situation.
in post-trade situation compared to pre-trade situation.
Hmm.
Pre-trade रे 15 units of X, the whole world was producing 15 units of X. Now in post-trade situation, the whole world production has increased from 15 units to 20 units.
Right.
Hello,
Sir.
am I right?
Right,
Now,
sir.
similarly, production of a commodity Y has also increased from 15 units to 20 units.
Sir.
So, world production of both the commodities has increased. This is the first advantage. First advantage of international trade, that due to international trade, world production has increased. Now, so far as the consumption is concerned, you see, world consumption has also increased.
Hmm.
In this example, hypothetical example, obviously, in this example, you see, in country A, in pre-trade situation, 5 units of Y, total consumption of Y was 5 units. Now, in post-trade situation, by exporting 10 units of X, they are now getting 10 units of Y. So, obviously, they will consume 10 units of Y. So, there is an increase in the consumption of Y in country X,
X.
country A, country A. Similarly,
A.
in country B, there is an increase in the consumption of commodity X. So
X.
we combined, we can say that world consumption has increased. Previously, world consumption of commodity X was 15 units. Now,
15
world
in
consumption of X is 20 units. Similarly,
hmm.
world consumption of Y is 20 units.
20
So
units.
world consumption increased, world production has increased, and
Hmm.
country concerns are also getting benefit out of trade. Those countries who are
Right.
participating in international trade, they are also gaining out of trade. So the initial economists, those who are arguing that there should be
Hmm.
international trade, their argument was based on this information or this argument that international trade is beneficial to the country concerned. But the
Hmm.
condition was that the country must have an absolute cost advantage. ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ନା ବୁଝିପାରୁନ?
Right. Right. ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ଆସିଲା।
ଟିକେ ବୁଝି ହଉଛି?
ସାର୍ ସାର୍।
କାଇଁ ଆଉ କଣ ଡାଉଟ୍ ହଉଛି କହୁନା ବୁଝେଇ ଦେବ।
ମୁଁ ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ନିଜେ ସାର୍ ଦେଖେ ଟିକେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟାଇମ୍ ପଚାରିବି ନହେଲେ ସାର୍।
ଏଗୁଡା ତ ଡିଟେଲ କହିବା ଟିକେ ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ହବ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
Okay. Now, this is about, I will not explain in detail. The gist is about this Adam Smith's absolute cost advantage theory. Then,
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
comparative cost advantage theory of David Ricardo.
ରିକାର୍ଡିଆନ
So, Ricardo,
comparative
comparative cost advantage.
ସାର୍।
Ricardo has criticized Adam Smith's absolute cost advantage theory on the
ସାର୍।
ground that there are many criticisms. Because in the real life
ହୁଁ।
situation, if you have one factor of production is the labor is the only cost of production is a very redundant assumption. Labor cannot be the only factor of production. There are other factors of production. So labor cannot be treated as the only factor of production. This is one part. The most important part is that the assumption of absolute cost advantage is a precondition for emergence of international trade. That means a country, in order to participate in international trade, a country concerned must have an absolute cost advantage. But according to Ricardo, even if a
ସାର୍।
country has no absolute cost advantage, still
ହୁଁ।
that country can participate in international trade and also gain from international trade. So here the basic criticism of David Ricardo on Adam Smith's absolute cost advantage theory is that even though no country has an absolute cost advantage, still the country concerned can participate in international trade and gain from international trade also. So let us take the example of David Ricardo. Similarly, suppose we have the example, suppose there are two countries, India and Malaysia.
India, Malaysia.
India, Malaysia, and two commodities are produced. That is, one is a textile and another one is rubber. And here unit.
What is the first commodity, sir?
Hello,
First commodities कौन कहले sir?
ମୁଁ କହିଲି textile.
Textile. Okay.
Textile. Another one is rubber.
Rubber. Okay.
Suppose India produces India 120
India 120 textile.
in a room code 40 and 80. This is the example. So let us talk in this way.
Okay.
In order to produce, suppose in order to produce textile, 1 unit of a textile require suppose okay, you talk in this way. Suppose with X factor of production, suppose India can produce 120 units of textile or 100 units of rubber.
100 units of rubber. Okay.
ଗୋଟେ କାମ କରିବା 100 that means I am talking about indifferent here. Suppose India can produce with X units of labor, X factor of production is not necessarily labor. Here, you focus some changes in the assumptions in the Ricardian model. In the Ricardian model, we have a two commodity and also two countries. Hello.
Sir.
We have two commodities. We have two countries also.
Okay.
Two countries are India and
India,
Malaysia.
Sir.
And two commodities are rubber and textiles.
Textile rubber. Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
So here what we are saying that suppose in India with X factors of production, X means a given factors of production. Suppose India can produce 120 units of textile and also 120 units of labor. Sorry, rubber.
Okay. Rubber.
These are units. These are units. And the international opportunity or the cost ratio is obviously 1:1.
1:1.
And in Malaysia, what happens? Suppose Malaysia can produce
40 units.
40 units of textile,
80 units of rubber.
And in case of Malaysia, the ratio is 1:2.
Okay.
এটা বুঝি পারছো কি 1:1, 1:2. That means in Malaysia, 1 unit of a textile,
2 units of rubber.
1 unit of textile fetches 2 units of rubber. That means in Malaysia, which one is costlier? Whether textile is costlier or rubber is costlier?
Rubber.
Rubber is not costlier. Rather, rubber is cheaper.
अच्छा.
Why rubber is cheaper? Because with the given factors of production, we are saying that in Malaysia is able to produce only 40 units of textile, whereas Malaysia is able to produce 80 units of rubber. That means Malaysia has a comparative cost advantage in the production of rubber. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So here, India has an, if you say the comparative within the country and among countries, there will be comparison. If you will compare within the country, that means, sorry, among the countries, you see, India can produce 120 units of textile and Malaysia can produce 40 units of textile.
40 units.
And which country has a comparative advantage in the production of textile? India.
India.
India has a comparative advantage in the production of textile, right?
Right, sir.
Because with X factors of production, India can able to produce 120 units of textile, whereas Malaysia can produce only 40 units of textile.
40 units of textile.
Obviously, India produces much more than that of Malaysia.
Malaysia. Right, sir.
Comparatively,
Comparatively, sir.
India has an advantage in the production of textile.
Sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Of
Yes.
course.
Then you can talk of rubber. In the production of rubber, if you will compare among the countries, that means between this
Among the
India
and Malaysia.
you see, India has an advantage, comparative advantage in the production of rubber also. Because India produces 120 units of rubber
20
and
units of
Malaysia
rubber.
produces 80 units of rubber.
80 units of rubber.
So obviously India has an advantage over Malaysia in the production of rubber also.
Rubber also.
So my point is that
Sir.
India has an absolute cost advantage in the production of both the commodities. And Malaysia has an absolute cost disadvantage
Disadvantage.
both the commodities.
Right, sir.
Adam Smith definition re कहूଥିଲେ
Yeah.
country A has an absolute cost advantage in the production of X commodity and country B has an absolute cost advantage in the production of Y commodity. Now you see it is a one-sided case. A particular country, that is India, has an absolute cost advantage in the production of both the commodities, whereas Malaysia has an absolute cost disadvantage in the production of both the commodities.
Sir.
Right. So
Right,
now the
sir.
question is, now Ricardo is asking a question to Adam Smith
Sir.
that under such a situation, is it possible to is it possible for a country to participate in international trade? You can talk of this India
Okay.
and can they have any international trade here? Because one country has an absolute disadvantage in the production of both the commodities and other country has an absolute advantage in the production of both the
Advantage
commodities.
of
So advantage is on one side, disadvantage is on the other side.
disadvantage other side.
A
Malaysia.
country has disadvantage in both disadvantage
Commodities.
in the production of both textile and rubber.
Rubber.
Whereas India has an advantage in the production of
Textile and rubber.
both textile and rubber.
So
So obviously, if you will apply this Adam Smith's argument here no trade can take place. But according to David Ricardo, here trade can also take place here. How can it be possible? According to Ricardo, in order to participate in international trade, it is not absolute cost, rather it is the comparative cost advantage which is required. Either here, what we are saying, a country concerned will produce or will be specialized in the production of that commodity in which the comparative advantage is the highest or comparative disadvantage is the lowest.
Hmm.
Least comparative disadvantage or highest comparative advantage. Suppose if we'll talk of Malaysia case, you can take the Malaysia
Hmm.
case. In case of Malaysia, what happens? You see, Malaysia has an comparative disadvantage in both both textiles and rubber.
Rubber, huh?
But this disadvantage is least in which case compared to textile and rubber. In case of Malaysia,
Hmm.
in case of Malaysia, you see disadvantages are there in both line of production, both in case of textile and in case of rubber.
Rubber.
But if we compare textile and rubber, the
Hmm.
least is minimum, lowest.
Hmm.
Disadvantages is lowest. Sorry, disadvantages
Lowest.
are lowest in which in the production of which
Te-
commodity?
textile, sir.
No, it is rubber. Because Malaysia
Advantage
produces
lowest, sir.
yes, I am talking about disadvantage is lowest. ଖରାପଟା କୋଉଠି କମ ଅଛି
Hmm.
ମାଲେସିଆର ଖରାପ ସବୁଥିରେ ଅଛି ସବୁଥିରେ
Sir,
ତାକୁ ଡିସଆଡଭାଣ୍ଟେଜ ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ
sir,
ଡିସଆଡଭାଣ୍ଟେଜଟା କୋଉଠି କମ ଅଛି କୋଉଠି ତମର ଖରାପଟା ଦିଟା ଜାଗାରେ ମାଲେସିଆର ଖରାପ
sir.
କିନ୍ତୁ ଖରାପଟା ଯୋଉଠି କମ ଅଛି that is acceptable
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଖରାପଟା କମ ଅଛି ମାନେ ରବରରେ ଆମର
ରବରରେ ଖରାପଟା କମ ଅଛି compared
ସାର୍
to
ସାର୍
textile
ହଁ ହଁ
ନୁହେଁ କି
ସାର୍
So I am saying that ମୁଁ ଏଠି କଣ କହିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ଏଠି ମୁଁ ଏଠି କହୁଛି
ସାର୍
least comparative disadvantage
ହୁଁ ହୁଁ
ତାମାନେ comparative disadvantage ଟା ଯୋଉଠି କମ ଅଛି
କମ ଅଛି ହଁ
ଆମେ ସେଇଟାକୁ ହିଁ ନବା
ରବରରେ ସାର୍
ହଁ
ରବରରେ
comparative ଆର ଯୋଉ countryର ଦିଟା ଜାଗାରେ ସେ absolute cost disadvantage ଅଛି
ସାର୍
ଆମେ ସେ countryର comparative disadvantage ଟା ଯୋଉଠି least ଅଛି
ହୁଁ
ଆମେ ସେଇ list ଟାକୁ ନବା ତ in case
ସାର୍
of in case of Malaysia yeah,
ମାଲେସିଆ
80 is the 80 units of rubber is produced with the given X factors of production. So Malaysia has a comparative or least comparative
ଲିଷ୍ଟ
disadvantage in the
କମ୍ପିଟେଟିଭ ଡିସଆଡଭାଣ୍ଟେଜ ଇନ୍ ରବର
production of rubber.
ରବର ସାର୍
Whereas in case of India, obviously India has an absolute advantage in the both of
advantage
line of
in
production,
both
also
of
comparative advantage.
textile and rubber
India is indifferent because it can produce textile or it can produce
rubber
rubber. ଆମେ ଏଠି indifference ଟାକୁ ଏଇଟାକୁ ଯଦି ଆମେ 100 କରିଦେଇଥାନ୍ତେ
ସାର୍
instead of taking 120 if we write 100 then
ସାର୍
obviously India will have an India will have an absolute disadvantage but comparative disadvantage is highest or greatest in case of the production of textile you understand or not? So this
understand
is
sir
the purpose you can take 120 whatever may be the hypothetical example to explain a comparative cost advantage theory we can take this example also. So here what is my argument or what is the argument of David Ricardo? David Ricardo's argument is that India will be specialized in the production of textiles and Malaysia will be specialized in the production of rubber. Malaysia will be specialized in the production of rubber and India will be specialized in the production of textile. Argument টা বুঝিপারল না বুঝিপারলনি
ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ବୁଝିହେଲା ସାର୍
So if India will be specialized in the production of textiles,
ସାର୍
then the resources which were being used for the production of rubber
ସାର୍
will be diverted for the production of textile because India will be specialized in the production of textiles.
ସାର୍
Similarly, Malaysia will be specialized in the production of rubber and the
ରବର
resources which were being utilized for the production of textiles will be
textile
diverted for the production of rubber.
ରବର
So now Now, if the resources which are being utilized for the production of rubber will be diverted in case of India, it will be diverted for the production of textiles. Obviously, how much of labor? Then if the same resources were being utilized in the production of textiles and rubber, then obviously there will be doubling of production of textiles in case of India
Sir.
and doubling of production of rubber in case of Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yes or no?
Sir, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we see. Now India was producing 120 units of textile.
Hmm.
Now India is producing an extra 120 units of textile.
Textile.
Extra, more textiles
Extra.
because
Sir.
by specializing, India is producing 120 more units of textile,
Hmm.
which could be utilized to export this excess textile to Malaysia. In
Malaysia.
return of
Sir.
this export, India will import rubber from Malaysia.
Sir.
बुझियो उतना नहीं.
Sir, sir.
So my point is that so now hello, the country concerned will be specialized in the production of rubber and textiles, and after specialization they will start exporting and importing the commodities. Now the question is that whether Malaysia will get what was the exchange rate previously? Previously, one textile
Sir.
fetches two rubbers in Malaysia.
Sir.
गोटे टेक्सटाइल देले दीटा रबर मिलुतला.
Sir.
Now, in exchange of 40 units of rubber,
Hmm.
you can talk of Malaysia case. In exchange of 40 units of rubber, because Malaysia is now producing how much? Sorry, sorry. Malaysia will now produce 160 units of rubber.
Rubber.
That means 80 excess units of rubber will be produced by Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Because by specialization, Malaysia will not produce any amount of textile.
Hmm.
The factors of production which were being utilized for the production of textile will be diverted for the production of rubber.
Rubber.
So now, suppose production of rubber will be doubled from 80 units to now 160 units. So 80 more units of rubber will be produced by Malaysia.
Sir.
बुझिएला तो?
Sir, sir.
Now you
Sir.
see, in exchange of 80 units of rubber, Malaysia will get 120 units of textiles.
Textiles.
Suppose this will be the exchange rate. Not exactly, this will not be the exchange rate. Suppose in presumption, my point is that what was the previous exchange rate you can talk of? That means 2 units of rubber fetches 1 unit of textile. It is a before international trade exchange ratio within Malaysia. Within the country Malaysia, this was the exchange rate before international trade. दीटा यूनिट रबर देले गोटे टेक्सटाइल मिलुतला.
आगे.
ता माने गोटे यूनिट रबर देले हाफ मिलुतला.
हाफ मिलता.
तमको हमको हाफ टेक्सटाइल मिलुतला.
आगे.
नुहे की?
राइट सर.
अच्छा, जदि आमे 80 यूनिट रो टेक्सटाइल दबा, सॉरी 80 यूनिट रो रबर दबा, हमको केते अमाउंट रो मिलिबो? 40
सर.
अधा मिलिबो.
अधा सर. हाँ.
अधा मिलिबो. अच्छा, मु जदि बर्तन कहबी इफ the country concerned is now exporting, suppose I'm not saying, suppose 80 units of rubber will be exported because 80 surplus unit of rubber has been produced in Malaysia. Suppose 80 units of rubber, rubber will be exported to India. And in exchange of 80 units of rubber, Malaysia will receive, suppose receive 120 units, which is an excess unit of textile which is being produced after specialization. So now, if 80 units of 80 units of rubber fetches 120 units of textiles after trade situation, before trade situation it was only 40. So now the point is that the country concerned, that is Malaysia, will gain out of international trade. So I'm not saying that the the rate at which both the commodities will be exchanged will be settled somewhere between this 40 and 120. Similarly, the other commodity. ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ନା ନାଇଁ? Similarly, the other commodity.
sir, sir.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏଇଟା ଟିକେ ପଢିକି ଆସିଲେ ହିଁ ହବ। କାହିଁକିନା ଏଇଟା ତ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ କରିକି ତ ପଢେଇଲେ ତ ବହୁତ ସମୟ ଲାଗିଯିବ ନା, ଘଣ୍ଟେ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି।
ହଁ sir, sir.
ମୁଁ ଆଗରୁ ତ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସରେ କେହି ଆସିଲେନି।
Sir. ଗତକାଲି sir.
ଗତକାଲି କେହି ଆସିଲେନି। ମୁଁ ଆସନ୍ତା କାଲି ତମେ ଯଦି ପଢିକି ଆସିଥିବ କହିବ, ନହେଲେ ମୁଁ ଯଦି ଗଡେଇ ଦବାକୁ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଗଡେଇ ଦେବି। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମର ତ ପୁଣି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ନା, ସେ 4ଟା 5ଟା କ୍ଲାସ ଅଛି, ସେଇଥିରେ ସରିଯିବ, ପୁରା ପେପରଟା ସରିଯିବ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ତମେ ଟିକେ ଦେଖିକି ଆସିଥିବ ଏବଂ କାଲି ଆସିବ କ୍ଲାସ କରିବା ପାଇଁ।
ହଁ sir.
ଏଇଟା ବୁଝି
ହଁ
ହଉଛି?
sir, ଆସିବି।
ଏଇଟା ବୁଝି ହଉଛି ନା ବୁଝି ହଉନି?
ହଁ sir, ଏଇଟା ବୁଝି ହଉଛି sir ଏଇଟା।
ବୁଝିଗଲା ତ? ମୁଁ
ହଁ
ଲାଷ୍ଟ
sir,
ସିମ୍ପଲ ୱେରେ ଯୋଉଟା ବୁଝେଇଲି, ମାନେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ 2:1 ଯୋଉଟା ମୁଁ କହିଲି, ତମର ଏଠି ଦେଖ ଲେଖା ହେଇଥିଲା 1:2।
sir.
1:2 ମାନେ
1:2 ହଁ।
ତାମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଟେକ୍ସଟାଇଲ, in exchange of one textile within the country, there will be no international trade. Now the trade will take place within the country. ଦେଶ ଭିତରେ ଯୋଉ ଟ୍ରେଡ୍ ରିଲେସନସିପ ହବ, ସେଇଥିରେ 1 unit of textile in exchange of 1 unit of textile, a person will get 2 units of rubber. ହବନି କି?
ହଁ sir, ହଁ sir,
ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ତ?
ହଁ sir,
ଆମେ ରିଭର୍ସ କରିଦେଲେ ବା, ମୁଁ କହିଲି 2 units of, ଯଦି ମୁଁ କହିଲି 2 units of rubber will give 1 unit of textile. So 1 unit of rubber will give 1/2. 1/2 of textile. ନୁହେଁ କି?
ହଁ ହଁ
ତ ଏଠି ଏ ଯୋଉ ଏକ୍ସେସ ହେଲା,
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ରବର ପ୍ରଡକ୍ସନ ହେଲା, ତାକୁ ଯଦି ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିଦିଆଯିବ, ଏ ତ 120 ପାଇଯାଉଛି, ବହୁତ ବେଶୀ ପାଇଲାଣି। ତେଣୁ ଅବଭିୟସଲି
ହଁ sir,
କଣ୍ଟ୍ରି ଏଥିରେ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେଟ କଲେ to be beneficial for the country concerned.
sir.
Similarly, India said କହିଲେ କି it is beneficial. So in Ricardian analysis, what is the argument? What is the logic, or what is the conclusion here is that in Ricardian analysis, or Ricardo's comparative cost advantage theory,
David Ricardo.
David Ricardo's comparative cost advantage theory is that even if there is no country has an absolute cost advantage, still that country can participate in international trade and gain from international trade.
Sir.
So the root cause of emergence of international trade is not absolute cost advantage. Rather, it is the comparative cost advantage, or least comparative
Least
disadvantage.
disadvantage.
It can also be the basis of international trade.
Sir.
ଏଇଟା ଟିକେ ଦେଖି ତ, ଆଉ କଣ ତ ଅଛି ତ, ବହୁତ ଗୁଡା ଅଛି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
କାଲି ଟିକେ ଗଡେଇ ଦେବି, ମାନେ
ହଁ
ମୁଁ ଟିକେ
sir,
ପଢିକି ମତେ ଟିକେ ଜଲ୍ଦି କହିବାକୁ ସୁବିଧା ହବ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା। ଟିକେ
ହଉ ତାହେଲେ।
ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଟାଇମ୍ ଟା ହବ sir। ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ନାଇଁ,
କଥା
ଆଜି
ଦିଟା
ବୁଝିଗଲା
ଥାଉ
ତ?
sir।
ଆଜି ବୁଝିଗଲା ତ?
sir।
ଆଜି ଯାହା ପଢେଇଲି ବୁଝିଗଲା ସବୁ?
ହଁ sir।
ନା କିଛି ପଚାରିବ କି ପଚାର ନହେଲେ?
ସାର୍ ସେଇ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଇଣ୍ଟରନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ଟ୍ରେଡ ଥିଓରିଟା ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ଦେଖିଦିଏ ଭଲ କି ସାର୍ ସେଟାରେ କିନ୍ତୁ ବଟ୍ ଏଇଟା ସାର୍ ରିକାର୍ଡିଆନ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ ସାର୍ ବୁଝିଗଲେ
ଏଇଟା
ସାର୍।
ଏଇଟା ଯେଟା ମୁଁ ପ୍ରଥମ ଯେଟା ପଢିଲି ସେଟା ପଢିଲି ଆଡମ ସ୍ମିଥ୍ କମ୍ପାରେଟିଭ କଷ୍ଟ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ ଥିଓରି। ଆଉ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଯେଟା ପଢିଲି ସେଟା ପଢିଲି ରିକାର୍ଡୋ
ରିକାର୍ଡିଆନ
କମ୍ପାରେଟିଭ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ
ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ
ଥିଓରି और कॉम्पिटिटिव कॉस्ट एडवांटेज थ्योरी।
ସାର୍
ଗୋଟେ ପଢିଲି ଆଡମ ସ୍ମିଥ ମଡେଲ ଆବସୋଲୁଟ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ ଥିଓରି ବା ଆବସୋଲୁଟ କଷ୍ଟ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ ଥିଓରି। ଆଉ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଯୋଉଟା
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ପଢିଲି ଏଟା କମ୍ପାରେଟିଭ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ ଥିଓରି और କମ୍ପାରେଟିଭ କଷ୍ଟ ଆଡଭାନ୍ଟେଜ ଥିଓରି। ଯାହା କହିଲେ
ସାର୍
ଚଳିବ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆଚ୍ଛା, ହଉ। ଏଇ ଦିଟା ଭିତରେ ଆମେ ଆର୍ଗୁମେଣ୍ଟ ବୁଝିଲେ ଆଉ
ହଁ
ଟିକେ
ସାର୍
ଦେଖିଥିବ ମେଟେରିଆଲ୍ସ ଅଛି ସେଥିରେ ଟିକେ ଦେଖିଥିବ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟାଇମ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆସିଲେ
ହଁ
ମତେ
ସାର୍
ପଚାରିବ। ଆ ଭିତରେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ରହିଗଲା ପାଠ ବି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟିକେ ରହିଗଲା।
ସାର୍
ମୁଁ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ୟୁଜ କରିକି ଖାତା ୟୁଜ କରିକି ପଢେଇଦେବି କାଲି ନହେଲେ କହିବ ଯଦି ନ ବୁଝିବ ବୁଝିବ ନ ବୁଝି ପାରିଲେ ମତେ ପଚାରିବ।
ସାର୍
ଆଚ୍ଛା ହଉ ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ
ଓକେ ସାର୍
ଅଫିସକୁ
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
ଯାଏ
ସାର୍।
ଦେଖିଆ କ୍ଲାସ। ହଁ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ। ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।
ଟିକେ କଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।
ହଁ ସାର୍ ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦବା।
ହଁ ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦେଲେ କେମିତି କଣ ତାକୁ ଚାହିଁଲେ ଅଧିକା ସମୟ ପଢେଇ ହବନି ତ?
ନା ପଢେଇ ହବ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା
କିଛି
ହଉ
ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ଥାଉ ସାର୍ କାଲିକି ପଢେ।
ହଉ ହଉ ଆଜି ଏବେ କଣ ଅଫିସ ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇଯିବ କି?
ନା ଅଫିସ ଅଛି ଖୋଲା ସାର୍।
ମୁଁ ଏବେ ଯାଆନ୍ତି ଟିକେ ମୋ ପାଖରେ ମେଟେରିଆଲ୍ସ କିଛି ନାହିଁ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଖୋଜିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ସାର୍। MEC-7 ନା?
MEC-7 ହଁ।
ହଁ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ନହେଲେ ଦେଖି ସେ ଗୋପାଳକୁ କୁହେ ନହେଲେ କାଢିକି ରଖିଥିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଇଠି ରହି ସବୁ ଘାଣ୍ଟା ଘୁଣ୍ଟି ହେଇଯାଇଛି ସାର୍ ବହି ଗୁଡାକ ସବୁ।
MEC-7 ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି 107।
ହଉ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଥିବି ସାର୍।
109 ନା 107? ହେଇଥିବ
ସାର୍
ହେଇଥିବ।
ଦେଖିଥିବେ ନିଶା।
ନା ନା 109 ପ୍ରାୟ ମୁଁ କନଫ୍ୟୁଜ ହଉଛି ଟିକେ ଏଟା 7 ଥିଲା ଏଟା 109 ଠିକ କଥା।
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍ ସାର୍।
ହଁ ଭାଇ।
ଓହୋ। 109 ଅଛି ୟା ପରେ 10